Mini Wargamer Dave here from miniwargaming.com. Welcome Wargamers to this quick step guide to starting Warhammer 40k. Now some of you might be thinking, why are you doing an intro on Warhammer 40k? Matt already did that. I've already seen his videos. In Matt's videos, he shows you how to play Warhammer 40k. In this video, I'm not going to show you how to play Warhammer 40k. Instead, I'm going to show you where to start with Warhammer 40k. Step 1. Observe. If you're brand new to Warhammer 40k, you know about it, you've heard about it, but you've never actually played or seen it, then this is what you need to do. Go to your local gaming store, whether it be a Games Workshop or an independent retailer, and watch people play a game. Just simply stand back and observe them play. This will give you a good feel for the game, a good gauge on whether or not you'll like it. It'll give you an opportunity to look at models. Hopefully the players that you're watching have painted models. If you don't live near a gaming store or you don't have buddies that play the game, then you can watch some battle reports. I've included a link below to the battle reports show page, and you will see the game as it is played. Step 2. Get your books. Now what books am I referring to, Dave? I'm talking about these little books right here. Your rule book and your army book. For this example, I'm using the Blood Angels Codex. The reason why you want to get the Warhammer 40k rulebook is because it not only teaches you every single rule in the game, it gives you a very good history and overview of each army. And it has some pretty pictures in it. So you can read up about the history and the fluff, as they call it. Don't think of fluffy clouds. It has nothing to do with it. It's all about the history and storylines. This will also give you a good feel for the army that you so choose to get and field on the battlefield to kill stuff. Now keep in mind, the rulebook is not cheap, so if you don't wish to buy it, you can either borrow it from somebody, or you can get this little baby right here. That is the Warhammer 40k starter set called Assault on Black Reach, and it has Space Marines and Orcs in it. But really that's only useful if you wish to collect Orcs or Space Marine. You also get some templates and some dice, but let's say that's not an option. Get your hands on a rule book. What I did when I first started to play, do not tell anybody this by the way, is I put it on the back of my toilet. And I would thumb through the rules and read through the rules every time I would sit on my golden throne of the Emperor. And I eventually became very comfortable with the rule. There are a lot of them, so I wouldn't suggest memorizing every single rule. Have a rule book on hand so you can refer to it whenever you need to. Step 3. That's 6, but it's 2 different ways of doing 3. Start army. Start a small one. You don't have to get this huge elaborate army to start with. If you're brand new to the 40k universe, I do not suggest this at all. It might be overwhelming and daunting. I suggest getting 2 troops choices, or a couple squads of guys, and a transport. Kind of like these guys right here. Very simple, it's very quick, it's a very simple, basic start. Troops choices in your armies are the mainstays of your armies. Kind of a strange sentence to say pluralized. But the most important thing that I would say when you get these models is that when you look at them, make sure that they excite you. Make sure that when you read about their history, that you become one of them. That their psyche is implanted in your mind, and it feels like you are on the battlefield. Now this may not necessarily happen to you, but it happened to me when I first started, and I really, really loved it. Step 4. Acquire materials. Get 3 good quality brushes. Kind of like these right here. A large one for base coating and applying washes, a mid-sized one for regular details on miniatures, and a fine detail brush for those harder details. You also need a pair of clippers. This is to clip the miniatures off the sprues, because in case you didn't know, they come unassembled and unpainted. And so you need to clip them off, glue them together, glue them on their bases, and stare at them gray. You'll also be needing glue, super glue or plastic glue, depending on whether your models are resin or plastic. And as for the materials for actually playing the game, you're gonna need a tape measure. I like using a really large, fat, max type of tape measure. You'll never need to go the full 25 feet, but it certainly feels good knowing that you can. What are these, Dave? These, my friends, are templates. These are your happy pie plates of the game. These represent the blast radius for certain weapons in the game. Just imagine all of these models that can fit underneath here all at one time being hit at the same time. That's when we delight in carnage. And that's why we field so many miniatures in this miniature war game. You're gonna need some dice. I suggest at least 30 6-sided dice, or die 6s or d6s. I say d6. Don't get weighted dice, don't cheat, don't have people hate you and want to kill you in real life. In fact, a good practice that we have here at the Mini Wargaming Club is that we all use the same dice when we're playing a game. So in the same game that we are playing, both using the same sets of dice. And no one can say that my dice suck and your dice are better because everyone's using the same. You also might need a carry case of some sort. If you don't want to buy the carry cases intended to transport miniatures, then you can just get a regular box and put some foam in it to protect the miniatures when you transport them. This step was long, too long. Next step, 5. Start painting. Buy some good quality acrylic paint. You don't necessarily have to get Citadel paint for this, but you should get a good quality acrylic paint. Here are some examples of these. You get your Citadel paints, your Reaper paints, and your P3 paints. There's many more brands out there, but we're just going to focus on these 3. There's pros and cons to each one, but overall, any set you get will be good quality paints. You can even buy different brands of paints and mix and match them. The good thing about Citadel paints is that it comes with these washes. These washes are liquid talent. If you're going to get washes of some sort, definitely get the Citadel washes. Step 6, prime your model. This is where we actually put some color onto the model. First things first, we need to prime them. A lot of people like to use Citadel spray paint. Other people don't spray paint at all. They just simply apply a base coat of the color that they wish to have on their models. I personally use a spray base coat. I find that it's quicker, it's more even, and it looks better. But whatever you do not field gray miniatures. If you want your opponents to actually take you seriously when you're fighting them, do not field gray miniatures. Just slap the paint on if you have to. Adding any color at all is better than having no color. Now, as for learning how to actually paint your miniatures when it comes to painting the details and so forth, a couple of different options there. One, go to your local club and observe people painting, ask them questions, probe their minds, pepper them with scenarios and colors. Suck out as much knowledge as you can. By doing this, you will greatly improve your painting skill. Another good option is watching painting tutorials. There are many different painting tutorials online. A good comprehensive painting tutorial series is Mini Wargaming's Painting Academy. This series includes 5 DVDs that show you step-by-step how to paint miniatures, many different techniques, how to paint washes, metals, faces, freehanding, you name it, you will learn it in this DVD series. I've included a link below for that if you want more details. Step 7, get your HQ. Once you finish painting your first few models in your vehicle or transport of some sort, get an HQ choice. Getting an HQ choice at this point in your Warhammer 40k life will determine the direction of your army. Each HQ in your codex has different abilities and unique skill sets. Pick any one HQ and make sure you like what he does and how he looks. 2 very important things there. You want to be impressed by the model and you want to be impressed by what he does on the battlefield. Those 2 combined equal awesomeness. Let us add the example of this HQ to this army. Looking better already. Step 8, go elite. Get an elite choice. Now that you have a couple troops choices and an HQ choice for your army, it's time to flesh out your army with stronger support units. Let's just face it, everyone wants some strong units on the battlefield to tear up flesh and metal. I'm gonna add this bad boy right here to this example army. This is a dreadnought. Doesn't that feel a little bit better having this guy support your army? You will sleep better at night, I guarantee it. Step 9, get heavy support. Now that your army is more well-rounded, you're gonna need some heavy support. Heavy support choices in your army are just that. They are heavy units that support your army. Whether it be tanks or monstrous creatures, at this point in the game it's really fun. It's kind of like going on a war gear shopping spree. Having heavy destroying capability is a must in your army. Make sure you choose a heavy support choice that looks ridiculously awesome and go paint it up. Paint it, don't field it gray, and soak in the death and glory. Time to add this Predator tank. Now for those of you who actually play Warhammer 40k, more particularly the Blood Angels army, or recognize the Blood Angels army, you're going to know that this technically is not a heavy support choice. It is a fast attack choice. It's a Bale Predator. But that doesn't matter because there's also Predators in the heavy support choice. So just for demonstration purposes, we're going to put this tank here. Step 10, march on. At this point, you're going to know your army much better. You're going to have a few games under your belt. You'll have a better feel and depth for your army. You're going to know what works and what doesn't work, what you like, what you don't like. You will be a better painter, I guarantee it. You go from slapping the paint on to actually doing something that looks half decent, you're bound to improve. Tip I have for you is to get more troops choices. Some might argue that they're not as fun as those other choices, but here's the thing about that. They add a lot more bodies to the battlefield for your enemy to chew through, and it makes it harder for them to beat you. They're the broth in your tomato blood soup, I'm telling you. There is just something to be said about 100 green-tide orcs charging at you. It is unnerving, even to the most experienced player. Yeah, we'll go with that. I've also written out this list and posted it below this video. Hopefully this has been helpful for you that are just entering this universe and have absolutely no idea where to start. You have no idea how many times I've been asked that. I've been looking at the 40k armies, they all look really cool. Where do I start? It's a very simple question. For those of us who have been playing a long time, it's a very simple answer. But if you're brand new, it can be daunting. Can be. Don't let it be daunting. It's a lot of fun. It is meant to be fun. I mean, look at my face. You can't tell me that this face is not having fun. That's it. That's all. Good luck starting out with Warhammer 40k and see you in the next video. Happy wargaming.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.